very happy to be here to share our experience. So I thank a lot IOPD and to Cote d'Ivoire for invitations.
Malheureusement, mon français, c'est pas très très bon. Et c'est pour ça que je vais parler en espagnol, mais mes interventions, c'est très petit parce que mon rôle, c'est de modératrice ou modérateur. Et je vais présenter.
And I will present the different panelists. So
Voy a pedirle a las personas que pasan el slide que me puede pasar.
I showing the
Avoir décidé pour partager
so sharing
le débat, entrar de débat. Attendez un instant, s'il vous plaît.
Je suis désolée, deux petites choses. Une première, si les dispositifs de traduction pourraient être distribués pour que tout le monde puisse suivre. La deuxième, c'est qu'il y a le sac du maire de Grenoble qui a disparu, qui était au premier rang. Peut-être quelqu'un l'a emporté par mégarde. Donc on vous remercierait, si vous l'avez pris, de bien vouloir vérifier que vous n'avez pas pris le sac de quelqu'un.
so we have one bag, the bag of the mayor, which is lost. So if you find it, just bring it here. And then also for the translation, since the moderator is going to speak Spanish, so you can use the headset.
Nuestro panel está organizado alrededor de un eje fundamental en la actualidad, que es la participación y el liderazgo de las mujeres en la ciudad. Si nos fijamos a las preguntas que nos ordenan, tenemos preguntas claves que nos gustaría compartir para poder repensar cómo vamos a pensar el futuro de la participación de las mujeres. ¿Cuáles han sido las experiencias innovadoras que han propuesto las mujeres? ¿Qué significa construir?
Ton micro n'est pas allumé. And this point, the first panelist I'm going to present is Gao Gabana, who's a senator in Cote d'Ivoire, and that's the reason why we invited her for her to. I'm sorry because after my intervention I will leave, but it was important for me to be here to now respond to the invitations and
Excusez-moi, faites l'apparition en espagnol.
we
Par rapport au thème d'aujourd'hui, je voudrais l'aborder sur plusieurs points durables. Certes, bâtir des infrastructures, c'est surtout et avant tout bâtir sur l'humain. Mais je pense que dans l'imaginaire lambda, une ville durable, c'est un peu mais en fait, les infrastructures vives sont maintenues et perdurent.
because we take when we talk about human aspect, we talk about women, young people, and but it's young women and the women young people. So that means the woman as citizen should have all her place to yes, should have all the place in the system. to find one of my one of my friends. We work together in Nigeria. So I was saying that talking about sustainable development, the development also talk about building in human. It's been building on women and men. So not only infrastructure, because the infrastructure is seen through the human action. So it is important to build upon people. I mean, involving women in democracy is quite normal. It shows democracy. Why? Because the citizen is male or female, so and each person should have his place in democracy, in the participatory democracy. So talking about women, sorry, sometimes it's not when seen. The leadership of women in cities are numerous. Let me take the cities of Cote d'Ivoire. The women leadership is multiple, because what we see first of all is the economic value. And here in Cote d'Ivoire, we said the leadership of the woman is basic, is the key, because she control the most part of the economy, everything concerning production and commercialization of all we eat, what we eat every day is thanks to women, that the given citizen can have food to eat. Beyond this aspect, they also invested the sector of textile, but they also invested the sector of health. So when I take the sector of fishing, so for sure, women don't fish, but they are the one who sell the fishes. So they have an actual leadership, which unfortunately is not visible. It's not visible because it's not the product like coffee, cocoa. It's not visible. But it's not visible first. So yes, but it is very essential. If we eat well, it's thanks to the women, and this has to be acknowledged, and so we have to get this contribution more visible. They also have a social contribution. I don't have to say more about that, because I know the majority of those who are gathered in this room are citizens, but there are also actors of non-governmental organization, which in their daily work brings what the mayor, the municipality, or the government cannot. So this is general council. So there are many at each level, in each sector. There are we find them in politics also. But why can't we see change? We can't see change because they are not decision makers, because they work in improving the life of their citizens. They are not where decisions are taken. So that's the reason why many things cannot be sorted out. As a senator, I may say when a woman is at the at the parliament, when there is at the senate, when there is a law coming, she has eyes to see. Even she will know that she will do all she can so that that law should not go against. Now, you see, women. When I talk about decision making, I'm referring to municipalities. The municipality's role is to better the daily of citizens. So where can the woman work? She can work first in municipalities. Yes, just we have to say to women, don't hesitate, get involved, commit yourself in politics and in the management of the different cities and municipalities. One of the questions were asked by the moderator that I would like to answer before going. What are the obstacles? She said. So the obstacle preventing the more active participation of women in democracy, in the managing of the cities. I am so sorry to say that the first obstacle are women by themselves, because we have so much been educated to underrate ourselves that we don't dare. We go, we create NGOs, but we are not at the highest level. Things will not change if you remain, you don't decide to say your place also is higher. So this is a challenge I am now giving to you. We cannot make somebody else happiness without his consent. You are not better, but you are not worse than the others. So, but you have the duty and the right to express your talent in managing our municipalities. When we talk about sustainable development, that is where our role become more important, because up to now in our community in Africa, the role of the woman is very important. It's a social role, it's a role of education. And if we don't involve, commit ourselves, if we don't take ownership of the concept of sustainable development, then our children, no matter what we do at school, no matter what the municipality will put in place or establish, our children will hardly accept it. So it is a commitment from for us to say that tomorrow the future should be better, and if it has to be better, we also has to commit ourselves into it. So we will have to start to participate down the scale, and also up the scales. And what I know and what I am convinced is we love to serve. We serve our house, but we have now to accept to serve the nation. Thank you for your kind attention.
Merci beaucoup, Marian Muchas gracias. Bueno, ha planteado cuestiones muy interesantes respecto del desarrollo sostenible en las ciudades.
Merci. Merci. Alors, how to build development through intervention, decision taking, women, and how can participative democracy in cities and municipalities bring more possibilities. And what I found interesting enough, it is the role of women which is not visible. Sometimes it doesn't mean that it doesn't exist, but it's because it's not visible. So we have to also associate them to social politics. That's where we can get them visible, but it's also a chance which is also it they have what is interesting, what you said, and I would like to talk about is the obstacles for sure. We are our own obstacles. We are putting obstacle to ourselves. Maybe sometimes a problem of confidence, a problem of culture, but maybe there are questions relating to politics. There is a commitment regarding the movement of women, and to engage women, to have them in politics, for them for their gender equality, simply to say that those aspects, those things have to be taken into account. I will now give the floor to I am Mrs. Jean McCoy, and I am the CEO of To Invest To, and I am the president of the supporting entrepreneur supporting bodies, and I also have a movement called the Democratic Niger Movement, participative democracy. For us, it's a great pleasure to be here to talk, to speak about this topic, which is very important, and share our experience. The topic female leadership and cities is our daily um, activities. We work on that. We build it with the main cities of Niger, but with also some urban municipalities and rural ones. In Niger, we have a model working on the organizations of women 30 years back, which was a great success. The model consists in organizing women in cooperative or in group, and we help them mobilize their own resources by establishing um, funding saving money, and behind then we have a training and monitoring protocol which is based on 3 steps. This model experienced a great success, and we repeated it in many other countries in Africa and in America. If my mind is okay, I said more than 50 countries are using this model, and we have more than 50 people, 50 women who are enrolled. In Niger, we have 1 million of women. So for this model to work well and be sustainable, we work with municipalities, with mayors, and we commit them first in the identification, but also in the creation and the monitoring of grouping. So we did in such a way that in the different municipalities we should have local competencies who can be there and do our work of competence transfer and technique transfer, just in case the organization is no more, just to enable the women who have their small businesses to go into entrepreneurship. And we created in some municipalities incubator center to help and support our entrepreneur women. So our role is to get the women to be prepared to face the difficulties in the municipality area, and to turn each difficulties an opportunity, and turn difficulties to project. Work on a project for those projects to become businesses. This is our job. And the countries where this model was successful, where the illiterate rates was high, we created good financial institutions from this model. So after 20 years, so 10 years back, when we understood that we won the economic challenge, we said, like Mrs. Senator said, that we cannot take the woman higher if we don't favor the space for her to be between to begin with decision-making people. So in doing so, we have thoughts of that, and we work with women for them to go and find the political party they are interested to position themselves there and to do all they can for them to be chosen as candidate. And our role is to support them in their campaign, support them for them to be elected. And during the former election in Niger in December, the last elections, we supported 1,500 women and disabled people. We have more than 10% that could be elected in the council and even in the parliament. So for us, the woman leadership goes before everything. It goes by the economic empowerment, empowerment. So the studies that we have done show that when you increase the economic power of the woman, it is obvious that the household will benefit from that. So we notice that there was less stress because when the woman contributes to the household, the man brings more respect to the wife. When the wife can financially contribute in the house, you see, we have less stress. And men respect the wife so much. And we notice that when the wife has much more money than the man, she think of education, health, food security that is improving in quantity and in quality. The accommodation also gets better and everything improves. That's why for us it is important when we want to talk about participative democracy, we have to include women. And more we notice in our country, I know the women are 52% of the population, but we also have the youth. So it's also important to talk about that because in Niger, which is my country, between 0 we are more than 80% of the population who is young. So it's obvious that today we cannot talk about development without talking about, without including the youth. So we help the mayor office, the municipalities, to plan everything related to training, monitoring of women, and resource mobilization for them to work and get food and go into entrepreneurship. Thank you so much.
Merci beaucoup.
Thank you so much. C'est très, très, très intéressant ce que la dame vient de dire. And there have been support to the support women for them to have good access to decision-taking space for her. The fact to support more than 1,500 women is one of the important aspects, and one aspect which is about the empowerment of women and participation on the participative aspect for this. She talk about the necessity for women to take part to be part of the decision taking members. So I will give the floor to Mrs. Caroline. She is a politologist, expert in public politics from Mexico. She comes from Mexico. She will show experience. Thank you. Thank you, Christian. If you can help me with the presentation.
Muchas gracias a la alcaldía de Cocodí por la invitación. No puedo empezar.
Thank you so much to the municipality of Cocody. I will give a response to one of the questions to see if the actions of women bring something concrete. I will say yes. The presence of the women will bring more for our society. So the female leadership work from rights for all and turn into something more powerful and rights for all the women, and those rights are seen in constitutions and then which are since since the beginning. That's what also Giovanni was showing on highlighted city where they should transportation means should work, and the women adopted that city, so they adopted the idea. So the women they went to the street to protest and claim their rights in Mexico and in many other areas. So they mobilize for social, political, and economic political aspect. They they went to the streets to protest and no, and then they could people want to prevent those women to protest in Mexico, but the women say the city belong to us also, and you cannot prevent us from having access to the tree. So we are in the street to let our voice be heard, for our voice to be heard. So it was a good demonstration for women to be responsible of themselves. So those women in Mexico, I may say, these 3 recent years a motor, an engine, and then they protested. There were many to protest, to call for things more inclusive. For example, by celebrating the International Women Day, and this continues even in the pandemic periods. So those women fought for democracy. So here we can see some pictures. I just want to show you the image from the right up there. You can see group of women, young women, who are in all the cities of Mexico, who ask those recent who have decided to take decisions concerning their own body. But this we have to recognize young, the young women. See, in Mexico, in four states, we have young women who succeeded to have the right of their own body. But the image you can see, the picture uh, on the left, who work hard, they they build some laws, some rules to be approved by the national authorities, and then for them to find the people, the people who were disappeared. And I wanted to show you a video, but I didn't have an I don't have enough time to do that. So when now the legislators, they saw that in that input of those women, their action, they saw that it was kind of victory for those women, and then those women fought for test being autonomous. The woman got searched to go to a place where a woman has been attacked, for example. They go where that situation happened, and then this they just mark that place. For example, the woman was violated by boss or a member of the family. So even if they don't know that the woman, if that woman a woman had been violated somewhere in a given place, they worked for the fight the for the rights of that woman. So what does this mean? In some ways, those initiatives which are small one are also to be encouraged, so that we that we should be able to train ourselves and be successful in our actions, aiming at supporting women or restoring the rights of the women. So I understand that beyond this, we have some inequalities that we notice, but we work together to go about this situation. So this together work help to find or have good achievement. So this in Mexico, for example, we succeeded in 2019. We succeeded together for women to have that law, and for all the political parties to present the candidature. The candidates should 50% of the candidates should be women. We fought for that, and the 50% of the legislative and the executive power should be equal. So we also succeeded. So you can see that picture today. in Mexico, the office of the Senate. So we have 49% of senators in Mexico as women are more than 49%, and in the chamber of in the MPs we are 50% women, 50% men. So this is a victory of women, starting slowly, but who are going to reach in the future very good. Uh, I would say very good. We have very good achievements for women in the future. And in the last election, 6 women succeeded in their states. They won. 6 women won the elections in their states. So we want in their area. So we want to get the woman more stronger in the private and public environment. So this is a way for us to see our the equality is it just there isn't the equality is not far. So what kind of participative model should we have? If we have a deep look at this, we can say that those pink, you can see the pink glasses, you can see, ask us to look what is happening with women, because women are transforming the world in the most powerful ways in this planet, and in cities they are claiming rights, they are mobilizing themselves and fighting for their rights. Then let me conclude here with this last image. The question was the participative budget should be served for investments. This is the photo of a productive model. In the yellow part, you can see the productive model is the work that we women did. This is the visible part of a production. We take care of women, we take care of old people, we take care of children. So we use a element of participative democracy like the one that we have here to see the priorities for you to be aware of this aspect, and then to be strong enough and then in the actions that are being undertaken. And we are doing a significant job that will bring a considerable impact.
Parece que podemos destacar algunas cuestiones importantes de esta intervención.
To have questions that I think they are central on the new modes and movements of women. Just want to know if those movements are respecting the right. And what she said is like women has become women with playing an important role for the improvement. And one thing that I would like to underline is one thing that is relating to the attack, the movement. So when we just we listen to that woman, and thanks to the they protest, some decision were accepted. And one of the points I find very important is to share experiences. And as Carolina said, is that those small initiative that will become a great initiative after. So we started this panel by saying that there are basic elements, which are the political input, parity, equality, and we know those laws have existed, and now we are going to reach 50%, 50%. And in the past, we used to have a law giving us to reach 30%. And for example, we put the equality, we've been working for the equality, and these are to be taken on board. And I think we have to move forward and continue with this topic, because you were Esperance Kwamukasi will come and share with that experience. Good morning. I just want to bring a small contribution, and I will start by introducing myself. I am Amekazi Esperance. I will do the presentation as coordinator of the promotion of women and children. So, with that position, I sometimes was feeling I sometimes had young girls who finished their education and asked us to be their mentor, how for them how to project themselves in the future, how to become how. So this is a question, difficult, tough question, and sometimes we try to tell them what we achieved, what we did in life, or maybe what they appreciated in us, and then take it as model. And then they were my daughter was part of the group. She finishes as education. She wanted to go for entrepreneurship, and she presented a project to a group of people. And the person who was presenting a project starting talking about a project, and at a certain time she said that she stopped because the man, instead of following the presentation, he was looking at that young girl. And after he said, "Oh, you girl, you are beautiful. You are a very beautiful girl." And my wife got annoyed and she got upset. And after the guy, he repeated again. He said, "Girl," he said, "You are beautiful." And she was upset because she was just there to present the project, but the man was just talking about her hair and saying that she's beautiful, all the things. So no, she was not happy, and she left the room. And she called me to know what she would be doing then. And I asked her to call the leaders of the organizing leaders, and for him to talk with that man. And since the organizing man, was responsible, so he listened to her, and then it happened that the project ran well. It's just to say that sometimes we have this problem of leadership. When we don't know what to do, when we have many obstacles, I'm just saying it's we don't have enough time. But the female leadership obstacle is, first of all, it's us, it's we, because we underrate ourselves. For example, my girl, my child, my daughter, if she didn't have anybody to just say something, she would have stopped there and not continue for her project. So you see. So another thing I would like to underline is the men who underrate us. They have their decision and they think that we should follow, we should follow their decision whether it be good or not. Meanwhile, if you do conservative, maybe we should have bring more. Another obstacle is the society, and another one is legislation. I want to talk.
dans le monde
I want to talk about hope. The hope are there with SDGs, so Sustainable Development Goals. We have many girls now at primary and grammar school, and we see that most of them in primary school, we have equality of in terms of number of girls and number of boys. So in the future, we hope that we be the leaders of the future. And another thing that changed all those things is in the past we used to have precocious, premature marriage, but now it's not the same thing like the other. And we hope that in the future the female, the girls' education will improve the number of educated girls. The other hope is the new civil society and the organization or Ministry of Education. It brings more leadership to the promotion of girls as the key aspect. We have many women who had men who have many responsibilities. We have women who are responsible for territory community, and then we have many women who are ministers, MPs, senators. We have business owners who are women who are business owners. They are human rights defenders, the small and large scale business owners, women. They contribute to the development of our collectivity. So, women be at the position of key position in political give the opportunity to women to participate in the debate the same way as men, and seeing their future, the community, the nation, and give the viewpoint on the problem of the countries, and even seeing the women at the position of responsibility motivates the young girls. So in conclusion, we may say educated the education of a nation starts with a woman. There is no other alternative of development of the societies, but to develop leadership in the gender aspect, where the woman will have a place in to see and promote the sex, the gender equality. That's why we have to bring more importance, because it's one of the ODG by 2030. So I prefer staying here to receive more questions. Thank you so much.
Merci beaucoup, Espérance. Moi, je vais destaquer
Thank you so much. Those three questions are very interesting for me. The obstacles, and the obstacles should, the thing should be clear enough. The barriers are not only men, but we women, we reproduce. We are the reason sometimes for this obstacle. So we so this could not the question of her daughter could be seen as an abuse, but in some way, maybe some these practices, which is sometimes not taken on board by the legislation. So, consequently, we need at that level the change of cultural change. So we should have punishment from legislators, and as consequences of what has been said, of as consequences of those practices. And what is also important, as she said, women are being developed in the cities, in the government, and we have to reinforce that human capital and education is the key for the empowerment of women. If we don't have education, we cannot have empowerment. So there is a synergy of intervention at the political level, at the cultural level, and education level. So this should complement all we've said. So we invite now that participant, Mrs. Gladys Kona, who is the president of the Federation of the Association of Women of Kokodi. Thank you.
Je dirais merci à la modératrice et merci au président.
Thank you so much of the president of OEDP, who are inviting the Association of Women of Kokodi to participate in that panel. This shows that is demonstrate participative democracy in our municipality. That's what I want us to say. So thank you to all those people that came from all the words and from Kokodi. Kodwa is scenes. Thank you so much.
Je vais renchérir le leadership féminin. Dans quelle mesure la participation
Female leadership. So in what extent the leadership of women are essential and important for participative democracy? The word female leadership is more and more seen in professional plans. Development of manager competence, skills in leadership, self-confidence, and the to be knowledge of ourselves, for them to be seen in the male sector. I will bring more details about that. I will answer to the question by saying that women needs to be politically visible as women and be able to act, because a question related to vital issues. So the presence of women in between the elected people can favor equitable political results, because this will encourage policy policymakers to look at the question related to women. I mean, salaries, the conditions of working conditions, and rape, etc. So, in the economic and political area, women not representative as such in local and international institutions. However, the number of women at the decision-making position is low. We can note some improvement of representative representing women at a higher level. We have 6.6% of elected head of state, which is something that needed to be mentioned and then is something positive for us. But in households, the women have all the the charge of reproductive job without being paid, and that task get them not to be active outside of the house, and they cannot influence any decision. And to conclude, the participation and female leadership will favor the equality between men and women, and also um, by promoting female leadership through sensitization programs in our societies, and this will bring ahead quality of movement. This will put forward the quality of movement. We have to organize seminaries, organize some workshops and seminaries in order the intention is to bring objectivity to the debate, to move to equality, gender equality, and to have equality in our society. So the leadership participation of women at each level, at all levels, and they are fundamental. And then we have to solve the gender equality problems. So this is how in our federation and association we are bringing our contribution to this panel. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your participation. And I would like just to highlight here we have those women who can just raise their hands but not talk. And this kind of things exist in many other countries. It is about making decision. And the other aspect that I want you to underline, we have 2 points. The first one is the violence on it's gender violence, gender-based violence, which has become more sensitive in this pandemic situation, and we saw the percentage of people increased. And when we look at the cities where women are representative, when the women share the private space with them. We now invite our last speaker. Thank you so much. Oh, we have 15 minutes left. So I think now we have 10 minutes left. So, and after we have the conclusion, so allow me, for me not to give all details. I think my sisters here have already raised all the challenges that we are facing. For me, female leadership goes in line with the gender approach. The gender approach, which in the operational manner gives the possibility to the possibilities of for the young girl, young man to evolve. So it is about equity, to bring the same chance. And for me, it starts with the basis. It starts from the childhood. Uh, for us, yeah, in the past, in our scholar book, we say Yao plays the ball. In our books at school, they say Yao play the ball and Aya cleans the kitchens. Aya is cleaning the kitchens. Yao is playing the ball and Aya is cleaning the kitchen. They say Kofi is repairing his motorbike. Akesi is cooking. So you can see the young girl is prepared for that for her to know that her roles just stop at the kitchen. I'm not saying that the woman should not cook. No, it's not what I'm saying. But there are some role we know that the woman should be comfortable in doing. But if I just take the spiritual approach, the woman has been created for to be the head, the help of the husband. So helping means rescuing. So if somebody come and help you, you are not going to get that person in slavery, right? As you're not going to enslave that person. So for me, one of the major challenges, if we want to have a real change, we have to start from the beginning. To give the same chance to the young girls the way it's given to the young boy. Even by selling, buying toys, we just buy intellectual. I mean, to the boy, and we just give doll to the girl. So we know that the woman will feel pregnant, she will deliver, she doesn't have any spermatozoids. So each one has his role, his natural roles. But apart from that natural role, we are made, women, to bring something to society. If I take the case of Cote d'Ivoire, economy, the food economy is based 99% on women. The various crises we've been going through made us see that despite the heavy arms we could hear everywhere, the women could overcome this insecurity situation to go into the bush. The cars, a truck could not move, but I don't know how they could make it to find trucks and bring food back Abidjan for us not to die in starvation. So I will, before closing, think someone. She is the president of the 20th conference, which took ownership of this approach. Mrs. Mayor, how many directory do we have at the municipality office of Kokodi? We have 5 directorates, and we have 4 female director, and they are significant ones. For the staff, the majority of the staff is female. And then I would like to commend that great person, and I would like to thank my brother Bashir. There are people here we can rely upon. So we want chance to be given to women. And we talk about the political place of the woman, and we were lucky enough to be trained by the developing partners, and women mobilize themselves, they are able, and during our training we saw it. But the last choice, we were talking about 30%, but we end up having 2%. All those women with value, which have been trained, will not kept, will not accepted, because it's only the men that would decided the person that should be kept. So we are fighting to be where decisions are making, and this has to be done with men. So you men in this room, you should help us out to take up those challenges, and we will be very happy, and we will commend you for that. When the woman is a leader and happy, the men are happy, children are happy, and we have health for all, no sickness around. The economy is at a very good level, and the family is doing well. So all around for the goods of the families. And who's speaking of family is speaking of the society, and also talking about the nation. Thank you for your kind attention.
Muchas gracias. A la última intervención, quiero dejar
These are small things which are becoming very important things. So this is where we should start. The importance that we give to political representation will definitely create a sequence promoting gender equity, just like my colleague said. I think it is important that ladies be given a central role in our economy, in the society, in the food channel. These are examples, and several other issues are giving more visibility to the women, and this will reduce significantly the exclusion of the women gender. I would like to give and three, if some I'll truly appreciate. But I would like to, first of all, commend all the panelists, especially those who just took the floor. Big thanks for their input into the topics of this International 20th IOPD. The panelists for their statements. I would like to know. The lady from Cote d'Ivoire said the leadership of women means equal chances. Equal chances should be given to men and women. I would like to know, in the framework of your fight for that women leadership, what is the role that you give to women living with disability? I know women living with disability are more disadvantaged, and what are the strategies that you put in place as an approach for these types of women to have the same leadership like you? Is there any woman living with disability in this room? Yes, I think we have one. We have one. Thank you. Good morning, everyone. I am Madame Atuka Tujeng from Mauritania. I would like to make two comments. I'm here since yesterday and I participated to this panel. I'm surprised this is the first time I'm seeing a group of panelists only constituted with women. Is it because we are talking about women leadership? I'd like to have a clear answer. I think the woman from Cocody was speaking about Kofi playing football or I don't know, and the lady cooking. The problem is not that. No, the problem is that when Kofi is playing football, it's well seen, but when the young woman is cooking sorghum, it's degrading. It's a comment I just want to make. Thank you. So I think we have an organization. I would like to draw the attention of my sister. When we talk about women leadership, we talk about gender. And when we talk about gender, it's equity and equality. And when we start talking about these concept notions, it means there is a difference between men and women. You know, I'm not asking a question, I'm just making a small input that I wrote myself. If you allow me, maybe it will take me 2 minutes or three, I don't know. I can say that, of course, equity and equality are intervening, and they are very important aspects. In that case, we are talking about gender and its diversity. Regarding women, the youth in general, our society in modernizing is giving a role to the women. This is how her emancipation brought about the parity and gender is defined in the dictionary as the entire range of features connected to the physical aspect and sex. Gender is the identity that the society in a sociocultural, religious and economic aspect is attributing to women and men. Third, identity and gender determines their relationship in their private life, like family or in the public, example, representation and work. Fourth aspect, the notion of gender refers to responsibility attributed to women and men in their culture in a given space. It is influencing the perception, deploying cultural, political, environmental, and religious aspects, which are influencing the laws and personal stereotypes. Fifth item, equality between men and women, which is the right to freedom, right to life, right to emancipation, right to participate, right to elect persons, and right to have access to resources, right to be respected and be empowered, right to make decisions, and right to say no, right to say no. Fifth, sixth, equality of chance between men and women so that men, women, children be able to enjoy any responsibility. So if everybody has to go to school, it has to be everybody. If it is a family package, allowances, and everybody have to access to that. If it is an activity or a race, everybody must run without any discrimination and justice. No barrier should be established in the distribution of the salary. We said equal labor, equal salary. A single gender cannot create marginalizations because we receive the same education in the same universities. More institutions are making gender issue a core aspect in their development plan, and this is considered in the decision-making process. Equity. Equity is to be fair with men and women, youth, and is equal access to women, men in terms of change in the development of their capacity, deleting all the limits which are jeopardizing their and social benefits. We have to reduce the gap between men and women, considering the rules of society in general. Thank you very much for being long and fast. We have questions for the panelists. Give us time to answer. Celan. Thank you. Recently, it was asked the question to know if there is no woman living with a disability, or what is the policy in Cocody that we are implementing to promote people living with disability. I must say that we are all people living with disability. We are all. For some people, we have visual disability, and some other people it is not visual. So here in Cocody, what we do for people living with disability, they are managed, by the town hall. They have their activities, they provide report, and they have subsidies, and they are participating to all our town hall council, and they are associated to all activities. The chief of staff of the mayor is somebody living with a disability, and everywhere he goes, he's always demonstrated his expertise, his ability, and his leadership. So this issue is considered in our policy. Now, why women panelists? I'm even wondering, because shortly I met some people, among which I had a colleague. I told him, let's go. He said, no, this is women matters. That's what he told me. You see, so with regard to your contribution, the sister from Mauritania, it's true. We need to positively discriminate, to take up challenges, and to level up things. So I agree that men should be supportive, because for now they are occupying the upper position. So if they accept that we go up just a bit, we're not asking them to get down a bit. They should accept that we go up a bit, so that we step by step get to their level. We will take one more question before we close, and we're going to ask the floor to the lady. Thank you very much. I'm not going to ask a question. I'm going to give a testimony. It's true. Today, we women, we should be leading things. I was elected, I must confess. I was elected for 12 years. I'm from France, in my commune of Saint-Julien-de-la-Villa. I was elected deputy mayor, and I'm part of my council working with Mr. Badouin. So I can tell you, we have abilities. We are Amazons. There, let's dare, and then we will succeed. Thank you. Let's close this panel. It was a shared pleasure with all of you. We may continue this discussion, touch base with all the panelists. Thank you very much. And we're going now to have the group picture.